My name is Maureen Lewis, and I'm a retired teacher of many decades. And this is my channel, Lew Stories, where I reminisce about my experience, mainly work, but also life stories. I hope you enjoy. Somebody had asked me to tell about my first teaching job at my new school. If you remember, I told you that I taught at a boarding school in St. Elizabeth. But my next job now was an all-boys school in Kingston. It was something. I had gone to a co-ed school that had less than 500 students in the whole school. And when I went to my first teaching job, it was a boarding school, it was in the country, and it was like a step back into the past. So I was able to cope. But when I came to my new school, ooh, that was a cultural shock. I just did not expect it. Now, it was very interesting, but I had a lot of problems adapting to this new situation. My first day, I went into the classroom with my books and my pens and my eraser. And I put them down on the desk. I turned around to write. And when I turned around back, I never saw my eraser again. And this happened to me a few times. And so I spoke to other members of staff about it. And then I learned that the boys use the felt part of the eraser to clean their suede shoes. So one does not leave one eraser careless. So I learned from that. But there were many other things. For most part, when I was in school, you left your bag on your desk or anywhere you felt to leave it and go about your business. You could keep your books inside your desk, or there was a locker, and you could padlock both your desk and your locker. But no, nobody was going to waste money on padlocks. So you just put the thing them in there and leave them. But this was not so at my new school. I noticed that all the boys at all times were walking around with their bags. And I found it so strange, I realized that they had a trust issue. After a time, I became used to it. But another thing that I found surprising was their eating habits. I grew up with 3 boys and my 3 cousins, but I still did not know that boys ate so much. There was a man out the gate selling what they call grotto bread. It's a round shaped bread. A boy might buy a whole bread or a half a bread or a quarter bread, and the man would put corned beef in it, and many of them would stand by the pipe side because they didn't buy any drink, and so they would drink the water at the pipe side, which I found very weird and strange. I decided one day I'd try it myself, so I bought a quarter, and I could not eat it off. It was so huge, so I always wondered how they pull off half. But there was also my time in the classroom, and I suppose being a young, new female teacher, they had to try to get at me. So one day I went to the classroom, and the classroom was divided into 2. I did not know they did it. But the first half of the classroom up where I was empty. And every desk and chair, I don't know how they got them piled in the back of the room, but everybody was sitting at the back of the room, and there was this big gap between us. So I said, could you gentlemen please come up a little further? They said, no miss, we're quite alright, we're quite comfortable here. Go ahead and teach. But it felt very strange with this big gap between us. So I decided, okay, I'll start my lesson. And so I started speaking very softly. So as I went on, boy put up his hand and said, miss, I can't hear. I said, but if you're up here, you would hear. You made your choice to sit at the back. So stay there. I'll stay up here, but I can't talk any louder. So I'll continue teaching, of course, in a softer voice, until finally, little by little, a few of them started coming forward. And I started raising my voice a little. But that same class, they were very interesting boys, but they gave me a hard time. I remember one day one boy got up and said, miss, did you know that the Arawaks did, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it's something outrageous, which didn't seem possible to me that those people way back then could do it. But they said, I don't think so. They said, yes, miss. And he got up and he opened this textbook and he found a page. Didn't tell me what page it was. And then he said, miss, It's in this book. And to the page right here, the right side of the page at the top left hand corner. And he started to read out to me. And I said, but that isn't possible. I said, you're lying. And he looked at me and I looked at him and he looked at me and I looked at him and then he closed the book and sat down. Miss, I was just checking if you know. And things like that. And then there's this other young man who, there are two brothers of them. I think they were twins. And one was very Jamaican, but the other one, oh, he was born in the motherland and he spoke with a perfect English accent. And he was always full of himself, and he could not, you cannot speak patois to him because he did not understand patois. He did not understand the Jamaican Creole. And sometimes I just felt like bopping him. But as time went by, they decided to give me a chance. Now there's this other one boy. Now they used to have these little invitations on these little cards, and every Friday he'd bring one of those cards and show me and invite me out. I said no, thank you. And every time he did, I said no, thank you. And then one day he said, Miss, why you can't go? I said, you don't notice? I said, I am a teacher, you're a student. Teachers don't go out with students. The boy looked at me and said, Miss, it's when I take off my uniform and I put on my ordinary clothes. And you say, oh, you look younger than me. Who will believe that you're a teacher and I am a student when we're going out? So I said, you and I would know. So it didn't bother me after that. Anyway, to conclude, I realized that I was quite lucky. Because remember that same firm that I was talking about in the beginning, they got a geography teacher. And you could see that they were giving her trouble too, because when she came down to the staff room, she was quite upset. But one day she came down crying and said she's not coming back. So I went up there now and I blazed on them and I said, what do you do to the teacher? They said, Miss, we didn't do anything. All we said is that she said, well, tomorrow we're going to do such and such. And one boy just asked because he wanted to know, then you go come back again? And she started crying and run out, Miss. We don't know what happened to her. We don't know we can't understand what happened. And I said, you boys are really, really, really wicked. So until next time, bye.